Today, I'll be attempting to win a national championship in College Football 25 without scoring any touchdowns. This means we're only allowed to score with field goals, and what better team to try this challenge with than the Iowa Hawkeyes? Week 1, we're playing the FCS Midwest, and what better way to start our season than with an outrageous penalty? Luckily, we held them to a field goal, which means as long as we can score on this drive and get the ball back at half, we're gonna milk this clock and win 6-3. However, they had us at 4th and 8, but we were able to pick up the first. We then set ourselves up for a nice field goal to put the score at 3-3 before halftime. Since we got the ball back at half, my only strategy was to run the clock all the way down and kick a field goal at the end of the game. It took me hitting this tough spin move, but we got into range, and on 4th and 5, we were able to put one through to take a 3-point lead. And on 4th and 14, they threw up a prayer, and my clutch goat, Deshaun Lee, pulls it down to secure our win. I went out of bounds with a second left to try and pad our stats, but I pushed it just wide, which is fine, because we had won our Week 1 matchup 6-3. Week 2, we had our in-state rival, Iowa State, in our first game being ranked at number 25. We're able to pick up a stop to start the game, and with any luck, that's the last time this game Iowa State's going to touch the ball, because we are milking this clock to the end of half. I was able to escape the pocket with Cade here and pick up a big first down. Shortly after, we fired one downfield and picked up another first down. From there, we kicked our field goal. Then we got the ball back at half and we ran the clock. I didn't even want Iowa State to think about an offensive play. We kicked a field goal at the end of this one just to assert our dominance as we won this one handedly 6-0. Week 3 against Troy, up to 19 in the rankings, but somehow we forgot how to tackle on this play and he goes for a while. Luckily on 3rd and 11, we got a nice drop from the Troy boy and we got the ball back. And on 2nd and 5 with 30 seconds left, we still wanted to get into range, so we took off with Cade, but we couldn't get into the end zone, so we had to slide down at the 10. From there, we center ourselves and we kick our field goal to go up 3-0. Second half we receive, so you know we're chewing like Pete Carroll. If we pick up this first, we win, and surprise here, we do pick up the first. We also pick up an extra field goal just for funsies, so we can walk out of Week 3 with another win, 6-0. Week 4, we traveled to Minnesota, and I sold on our first drive. On 4th down, I'm looking for the slant, and I threw it right to the Minnesota defender. I knew we were in trouble early if they scored here, but our line comes up clutch, and we get a huge sack on 3rd and 11. And on top of that, Minnesota misses their field goal, so it's like we were just milking the clock the whole time. We take our field goal at the end of half to go up 3-0, and now we need our stop on defense. That stop came really quickly after Harris came down with one of the easiest picks of his career. Now the problem was that I didn't have enough field to end the game, so I decided to take my field goal, and worst case scenario, they score a touchdown, we'd still kick a game winner at the end of half. On the other side, Minnesota decided to attempt this 59-yard field goal, and I couldn't believe that it went in. But frankly, I was one first down away from winning, so I didn't care. We went ahead and picked up the first with ease, and we walked out of Minnesota with a 6-3 win. Week 5 was a big test for us as the number 10 ranked Iowa took on the number 1 ranked Ohio State. Of course we had the ball first, so I was milking until the end of half so I could kick a field goal. We make it in, now we just need one stop on the number 1 ranked team in the country. He drops back to throw and I'm all over that, a user pick to seal the deal and put me back in control of the clock. We picked up a first on 4th and inches here, but as we're one first down away from the win, we're stopped short on a 3rd and 3. Now on 4th and inches with the game on the line, McNamara fights for the first and we upset the number 1 team in the country with a final score of 3-0. Week 6 against Washington could not have had a better first half from us. We milked the clock all the way down to the last second and took our field goal to go into half up 3-0. Now we just needed our stop on defense, but this guy just goes right through the middle of our defense. On 3rd and 13, they're looking to convert, but he checks it down and we're able to stop him short of the first down marker. On 4th down, they look like they're about to tie the game, but we block the kick and get the ball back. Now on 4th and 3 to seal the game, we're looking for the fade and we connect and take down Washington by a score of 3-0. Week 7 seemed like a gimme against Michigan State, but after getting smoked on this play action first play, it seemed like it might be a trap game. That was until our defense made a huge stop on 3rd down and forced them to a field goal. For the Iowa offense, that means running the clock and setting us up for a field goal of our own as we go into half 3-3. Now with the ball in my hands, I'm planning on taking the clock all the way down and kicking a last-second field goal for the win. After picking up some crucial first downs, We go ahead and kick that last-second field goal, and we escape Michigan State narrowly with a score of 6-3. Week 8, we got Northwestern at home, and it could not have gotten off to a worse start as our defenders run into each other and we give up our first touchdown of the season. So I know I had some work to do. We get the ball and we dime one to our tight end on the crossing route. Then we follow that up with a rifle over the middle to set up a field goal to cut the deficit to 7-3. Now we need another stop on defense, and on 3rd and 7, we just barely stop him from escaping the pocket and we get the ball back. After some expert clock milking, we're able to get to the middle of the field and line ourselves up for another field goal to drop our deficit to 7-6. And with getting the ball back at half, we are guaranteed to run the 3rd quarter and milk as much of the 4th as we possibly can. Luckily, we're able to set ourselves up to hit the game-winning field goal with no time left, and we nail it and send Northwestern packing with a 9-7 loss. Week 9, we're taking on Wisconsin, and we are off to another awful start as we give up our 2nd touchdown of the season in back-to-back games. This, of course, means we gotta score quickly, and we take a shot downfield, and somehow our guy comes down with it, which in turn sets up the centering run for us to kick our field goal and decrease their lead. On defense, for some reason, they choose to run it on 3rd and 4, and we get the stop we needed. And I was doing so much milking, I low-key sold here and had to kick a longer field goal than I wanted to. But no worries, I nailed it, and we went into half down 7-6. And with 1:20 left and 1st and goal, I was worried they'd start using timeouts, so I decided to waste some clock on my own and make Wisconsin not use any of their timeouts. Plus, I was confident all I needed to do was stay in field goal range, and on 2nd and goal, we threw a rope and connected with our receiver to get back into field goal range. And on 3rd and goal, we got our guy down the middle and set up an easy field goal, which we were able to put through for the win, and we moved to 9-0 with a score of 9-7. Week 10, I wanted to make light work of UCLA, so we went ahead and milked the entire first half and got away with a very clean first half where we were able to kick our field goal as time expired in the 2nd and take it into halftime 3-0. This means that all we needed was a stop coming out of half, and we got it on this questionable draw play from them. We milked the clock some more, but in order to seal the game, we had a 4th and 11, and if we got this, we win. If not, I was in trouble. I sent the tight end on an underneath, and he was able to secure the first down, and we secured our win against UCLA 3-0. Week 11, we were finally ranked number 4, which was mostly because they wanted to hype us up for a game against the 9th-ranked Maryland. Maryland gave us no problem with milking the clock and getting down to the 5-yard line, middle of the field, to take our field goal and go into the second half up 3-0. All we needed was a stop, but somehow the defense failed to stop this speed option, and we gave up a bunch of yards. We, however, clutched up and made the stop on 3rd and 1. Maryland decided to go for it on 4th and 2, but that would be their demise, as they would be stopped short and they would not see the ball again, as we were fully milking the clock to take the win 3-0. Week 12, we played an NIL-boosted Nebraska team who got stuffed on their very first drive, which frankly meant the game was over as soon as it started. We absolutely dominated the clock milking game, and we centered ourselves for an easy 3 to end the half and go into halftime up 3-0. Second half was rocky immediately as we had a 4th and 3, but I knew Nebraska can't cover the underneath route, so I was able to pick up the first. Not 2 minutes later did we have another 4th and 7, since Nebraska of all teams decided to be the first good run defense we've played this year. That didn't matter, however, as we hit our tight end on the underneath and continued to pound the rock, and just to spite Nebraska, we took an extra field goal to really pad our stats and take the win 6-0. After an undefeated regular season, we had the Big 10 Championship against my former school, the Oregon Ducks. Frankly, my strategy was not changing, so all we needed was a stop, and we were able to sack Dylan Gabriel for a big loss and the rights to run the clock in the first half. However, Oregon's defense had us at a 4th and 6, but I saw they weren't at all covering the middle of the field, so I hit the slant and we picked up the first down. Immediately after, we had another 4th down, but I again noticed they didn't change their defense, so I ran the exact same play and got the exact same result. From there, we kicked our longest field goal of the season, and we nailed it. Look at that beauty. We were up 3-0, and all we needed to do was run the clock. We really had no problem doing that against Oregon in the second half until we had a 4th and inches with the game on the line. If we get the first down, we win the Big 10, and of course we were able to pick it up and win the Big 10 Championship 3-0. Not only did we win the Big Ten Championship, but our kicker got the Lou Groves Award because, duh, of course he did. Our first playoff game was against Oak State in the Rose Bowl, and our strategy got us this far, so I wasn't planning on changing it. We hit this slant to pick up some yards to set up an easier field goal, but we very easily went into halftime up 3-0, and all we needed was to stop the Cowboys. And on 3rd and 16, they were looking deep, but settled for a check down, and we were able to make the stop before the line to gain, and we got the ball back. From there, we milked the clock until we had a 3rd and 8. If we picked it up, we won the Rose Bowl. At this point, I wanted to call on one man, and that was Cade McNamara. We take off and he fights for the first down, and we are able to defeat the Cowboys in an exhilarating Rose Bowl, 3-0. Our semifinal was the Orange Bowl against a team we have already proven we could beat, who somehow was ranked higher than us, even with 3 losses, including one to us. And all we needed was one stop. And on 3rd and 11, we tackled him at the line to gain, but they call him short. And from there, we couldn't waste our chance to milk the clock. But on 3rd and 6, our receivers decide to make out mid-play, and we were down to a 4th and 6. I decided to go right back to the same play since my tight end would have been wide open, in hopes that he again does not decide to embrace the slot receiver, and this time, we were able to pick up the first. However, I was doing so good at milking the clock, I was only at the 50 with 30 seconds left, so I decided to let the tight end pick up some extra yardage. I then decided with 7 seconds I had enough time to make one more throw, and I found my tight end who just barely makes it out of bounds in time, and we're able to put one through to go into halftime up 3-0. Milking was going great, but it was 3rd and 11 with 2:43 left. I already knew I was going back to my tight end over the middle. He was open, and we converted. Now we were just 1 first down away from the national championship, and we ran it right up the middle and picked up the first down, and we were going to the national championship with another barn burner, 3-0. Finally, we were at the national championship, undefeated, with a team who has only kicked field goals all year. The first half couldn't have gone more according to plan, as we had 0 problems running the clock against LSU and taking our field goal, and we had our lead at halftime, 3-0 in the national championship. This is what we fought for. We were 1 stop away from completing our goal of winning the Natty, and on 3rd and 5, we thought we had it when this play happened. But somehow the play was overruled and they ruled this a catch, much to my dismay. But we didn't come this far to give up, and who else would be a hero in this game but the man who started it all, my literal GOAT, Deshaun Lee, nabs the pick for us, and we were now 2 first downs away from a national championship. 4th and 1, we're able to pick up the yardage, and now we're just 1 play away from the national championship without a single touchdown all season. On 3rd and 2, our running back fights through the line, and he gets the first and goes down, and we have done it. There you have it. Yes, it is possible to win the national championship without scoring a single touchdown. Make sure you guys subscribe for more football content. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.